money. Journalist, exciting. Academic, worthy. I just had to pick one. I knew this. And then the conversation would flow on like a bounce pass from a wing defence to a nimble centre. But I couldn't do it. I fobbed the pass. I intercepted my own shot. This is something I have made quite a habit of, as you will see. In a condescending monotone, I said, well, I don't really want to do anything but learn or, read because everything else seems kind of tragically depressing and meaningless. And on the way to school, I see people on the bus who are going to work and they look fucking devo. My friend Soph was on the deck with me, and I looked to her for support. She gave an encouraging grimace. I read this as her giving me the go-ahead to dig deeper. I have a habit of scratching my neck when I'm nervous to feign casualness, and what I imagine to look like cool impropriety. And I certainly did this then. Attention was on me. I was aware of my body, my pose, which I've been told can read as defensive. Holding myself in, using my arms as a cage. But what is defensiveness, if not a waving hand above a drowning body? It seemed to me that surely, any day now, I would be caught out. I used my words, my wit, to deflect from my trembling fingers, to divert attention from the fact that my thighs chafed as I walked, no matter how little I ate, no matter how far I ran. Outside the school walls, I struggled to retain agency. My lack of confidence in engaging with members of the opposite sex correlated to a direct deflation of my human capital out there. Inside the school walls, however, with words and with girls, I could do it. I could direct the play. At this moment, I had not entirely lost the crowd. I could see others thinking back to their own morning commutes. I could see them reflecting on the dejected faces of those wearing skirt suits with trainers and running miserably for the bus. But then one of the boarders, sounding exasperated that she even had to explain something so simple, piped up. Yeah, but my dad says if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. A Greek chorus of other boarders murmured in assent. Without the support of the boarders, I could not hope to win the popular vote. Their numbers were simply too vast. I knew then that I was about to be mean, and I just didn't have the self-restraint to stop myself. I was powerless to resist the temptation of a clapback barb. What does your dad do? He's a farm manager. Arms crossed against plaid polyester, back against bench legs, territory claimed. I looked to Soph for reassurance, to confirm that I could go on, hook the blade. Her expression was impenetrable. She'd evidently decided that she was just going to sit there, observing. She'd watch me make a mess, like she had done many times before. Unlike me, Soph always knew when to stop. I had one more chance not to be a dick, and I did not take it. Right. Well, your dad is either an idiot or a liar, unfortunately, and that sucks for you. And then I gave a little comic grimace to convey that I did not relish telling her this bad news, but, regrettably, someone had to. This did not go down too well, as you might imagine. Some of the popular girls snorted laughter, but most didn't. Because even though what I had said was funny, it still wasn't cool to be an outright cunt. I did know this. I had gleaned this before. But my anger at the prospect of a future of remunerative labour must have briefly obscured my social self-preservation instinct. Or, perhaps more accurately, I had spied a window of opportunity in which I could confound, upset, confuse. And so I took it. Because I was angry with the world, and I didn't know where else to direct my anger, except at people who seemed more content with their lives than I was. The boarder was upset. I could see that I had hurt her feelings. Soph looked at me with love and with pity. I think that's how she looked. That's how I read it, at least. It seemed to me that she was thinking, oh, my sweet Hera, when will you learn? I made a half-baked attempt to apologise to the boarder. But I hadn't yet internalised the word systemic, and so my apology cum explanation lacked the rhetorical gravitas I could have given it a few years later. More to the point, I had learned self-hatred, but I had not learned humility. What I actually said was that I was sorry I was right. The moment after I said this, I regretted it, but it was too late to take it back. Then, before the next stage of the conversation,